It's never too late to become the person God has created you to be. My name is Charles Fels. I would like to reflect with you this morning about putting aside our false selves and becoming our true selves. And it's a special joy for me to be here because, like you, I am a child of the ascension. Let's begin with Jesus. We're in the Gospel of Luke. And the Gospel of Luke is important for many reasons, but one of which is it tells us Jesus began his work at the age of 30. And when you and I hear the age of 30, we think, well, that's a good young age. It wasn't. Life expectancy in the near Middle East 2,000 years ago was between 25 and 35 years of age. When Jesus began his work, he was a geezer. And you know the story? Someone suggested he go to John the Baptist. Something pulled him to be baptized. Something suggested he go into the wilderness and think about the new identity he had just received, his true identity. He heard a voice, "You are the beloved Son of God. With you I am well pleased." That was his true self. And because there is power in knowing your own true self, he resisted the temptations to be anything less than who he really was as a child of God. And you can call the three temptations whatever you want. But whatever they were was an invitation from those voices that speak to us sometime to be less than who we truly are. And today's gospel reading is about one of those voices, the voice that they will kill you. The voice of fear, of death. And because Jesus is strong in his true identity, he brushes it to one side and says, "You tell that fox where to go." And I got to tell you, fox in those days was not a compliment. It was never too late for Jesus to become the person God created him to be. So at a mature and advanced age, call it, if you've got a 5-year life expectancy as I do, call him 82 when he got started. And he lasted for 3 years before that fox did get him. And he went from death into the mystery of life after life. And you and I are called to do the same. I know that personally because you, in this place that is so dear and special to me, you taught me that. Or if you didn't teach me that, the people who were here when I came here taught me that. A little background about me, and then let's talk about you. When I was 5 years old, I was kicked out of the Episcopal Church in downtown Nashville, along with my little brother Mike, by two blue-haired ladies who said in an angry voice, "Y'all can come back when you've learned how to behave." We were raising Cain downstairs in the Sunday school room. I didn't come back for 40 years. And when I came back here on a Christmas Eve at a time in my life that was pretty low. And I saw a priest come down this aisle with a smile on his face that said he had something I didn't have. And I wanted to know what it was. And with your help, I began to find out I stumbled and I blundered and I had no idea of what I was doing. But the angels of ascension spoke to me. And the angels of ascension are you and me. The angels are those voices that say, maybe you should do this. Have you thought about doing that? Why don't you understand? Why don't you become a lector? No idea of what that meant. Okay. Why don't you become an intercessor? No idea of what that meant. The angels kept encouraging. Why don't you do EFM? 4 years of active study? Can't do it. Oh, yes, you can. Vestry. Why don't you serve on the vestry? No. Oh, yes. Why don't you be the junior warden? What is that? Fortunately, Mary Rayson, God bless her, showed me what it was to be a junior warden and modeled for me what it was to be a senior warden, which I did the year after Mary left. I was confirmed right there with Randy Nichols and all this string of little kids. And then there came a time when I was 59 years old, you sent me to seminary. The kid who got thrown out of Sunday school went off to seminary. And at the age of 62, you ordained me here as a priest in this church. No matter who you are or where you are, it's never too late to become the person God created you to be. So what was true for Jesus and which I found to be true for myself with the help of the angels of ascension, it's true for you. It's never too late for you to become the person God created you to be. So how do we do it? 3 words for this morning. They come from Howard Thurman, Anne Lamott, Richard Rohr. Howard Thurman, the great black theologian, pastor, mystic, that Amy is doing such a wonderful job of describing in the parish hall at 9:15. I encourage you to come to it. I'm coming to it. Howard Thurman said, for those of us who are searching for our true selves, look at yourself. What is inside you that calls you to life? What is it inside you that sets you on fire? Howard Thurman says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what excites you, because the world needs people who are excited by what they are called to do. He said, go with the grain in your own wood, but you got to look for your grain before you can go with it. And he said, for those of us that are of mature years, older people can get set in their ways. You would not be familiar with that. I have become familiar with it. And he said, for those of you of mature years, look for the green, growing edge. What part of your life is your green, growing edge? And go for that. First word, look at yourself. Second word is pray, from Anne Lamott. You'll remember Anne Lamott, a wonderful, irreverent Christian writer from the Bay Area, recovering alcoholic, recovering addict, writes beautifully. You'll remember she once said memorably that she had such vile and foul thoughts about a woman who was much more beautiful than she was and much better dressed that she could never say those words out loud, because if she did, Jesus would start drinking gin straight from the cat dish. Anne Lamott says, and this is Practical Christianity 101, there are only two forms of prayer. One, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the second, help me, help me, help me. So if you're looking for your true self, your prayer is help me, help me, help me. And when you do that, it pays to stick around and listen for an answer. And sometimes the answer will come from the angels of ascension, the other people around you. And maybe you might be one of those angels for someone else as well. First word, look. Second word, pray. Third word, Richard Rohr, act. Richard Rohr, great Franciscan, practical psychologist, still alive at the age of 81, in bad health, but he writes beautifully. And what he says is, if you want to get on a spiritual journey, discover your own self, you have to act first. You don't sit there thinking out the grand plan. You'll never figure out a grand plan. You have to actively do something. One step. If it's the right step, the world will tell you it's the right step. If it's the wrong step, the world will tell you it's the wrong step. But whether you are right or wrong, if you're being faithful or trying to be, and if you take one step, that begins to change your life. And that begins to move you towards the person God created you to be. The Church of the Ascension, you are a great church. You are a great church, not because it's a beautiful building, which it is, not because we've got a wonderful choir, which we do, not because of the wonderful, caring, competent clergy, which we've got, or the kids. It's a great church because of you. The church is the people. So maybe it's time for you, in the season of Lent, to begin the search for who you truly are. Maybe the place to do it is here. Maybe the place to do it is now. May God bless you on your journey as you and God have blessed me in this place. Amen.